Hello and welcome to the Asian Game here at the FIFA Women's World Cup. Of course, all our coverage sponsored by our good friends at SMC. It's a pretty glum morning here in Adelaide, which pretty much sums up the mood of the country at the moment. Paul Williams alongside Bruce Djite, the Mayor of Adelaide, we can probably say. We've had a chance to sleep on it, Bruce. The result last night, how did you wake up feeling this morning?
Look, it's a disappointing result, no doubt. Okay, you look at the result in isolation, it's disappointing. England played better than us. That's just the reality. That's football sometimes. But when you start to look at the journey, not just the tournament, but the journey the Matildas have been on for several decades, and this tournament in particular, very proud. I mean, I don't think there's one Australian out there who's not proud of what this team's done, what they've done for the nation, not just here, not just for Australians here, but globally as well. You know, it's a phenomenal achievement what they've done when we look back and think that the Matildas made the semi-finals of a World Cup. Oh, that's big business. That's a big deal.
It's enormous. If we look at the game, where was it, do you think, that England were able to get on top and get on top of Australia, and where did Australia fall short?
England, obviously, physicality. They were stronger, they were faster than a lot of our players. They played that type of game to not allow our best players to feel comfortable on the ball. And then, you know, these games are decided in moments, right? And we saw a moment of brilliance. Sam Kerr, phenomenal. And then we saw some sloppy errors and mistakes, some poor tracking of runners as well. So, you know, those are, you know, what decide games sometimes, and that's what decided this game for sure.
Yeah, we know Tony is stuck with pretty much the same starting 11 the whole way through. He hasn't used his substitutions perhaps as much as people would like. Do you think they looked tired last night, especially after a physical and emotional toll of the game 4 or 5 days earlier?
Yeah, they looked flat from the start, didn't they? And that showed in the possession stats. They had an inability to press. England were pressing us really high, which ended up with England with more possession than us, which leads to us doing more running than them. It should be the other way around if you're the tired team. But yeah, again, you know, it would have been good early in the competition to see some subs when it was possible. But again, you know, it's easy to nitpick things after the fact. I think everyone should be very proud of the achievement from, you know, the Football Australia chair, Chris Niku, and CEO JJ, all the way through to, you know, the support staff that helped these unbelievable females achieve this result.
Sam Kerr came back and she had her moment that she's obviously wanted for this entire tournament. Remarkable goal. She'll probably be waking up this morning, though, stewing about those 2 chances that she missed that could have sent it to extra time. You're a striker. I'm sure you've had that moment in your career yourself. How do you deal with that as a striker when you know that you've missed a gilt-edged opportunity? How do you deal with that mentally to get over that?
Oh, I think in the semi-final of a World Cup, you get over it very quickly because there might be another one coming not too far away. She scored a fantastic goal. You don't score all your chances. And, you know, there are players who, and she will continue to miss chances as well as score phenomenal worldie goals. So just part and parcel of the game. That's football. You win some, you lose some. And unfortunately, we were on the wrong side of the result last night.
I forgot to mention as well, you're a Beyond Greatness ambassador for this tournament as well. This tournament as a whole has just been probably bigger and better than what everyone thought it would be. What type of legacy, you mentioned it a little bit at the start, but what the journey the Matildas have taken this entire country on, and we saw the scenes around the country last night. I don't think anyone thought we'd ever see something like that when this tournament started. What kind of legacy have they now left behind that they can build on moving forward?
I think it's hard to put into words today, so soon after that semi-final. There's still a third place playoff to be played as well, but they've changed the dynamics of the country more broadly than just football. I think if we look at football specifically, for me the legacy has to be that, you know, all boys and girls, whoever, can come and play this beautiful game. And in order to do that, we need to really improve the infrastructure that is currently in place, and we need to significantly increase the infrastructure that we have available, because the worst thing to come off the back of this World Cup would be local clubs turning away young girls because they're at capacity. So there's a lot of work to be done in that space. Football Australia, hats off to them. They started that work well before the World Cup, predicting significant uplift. But a lot of work to do there. That would be the key for me. And yes, this World Cup's been bigger than everyone expected. I was saying in the lead up when people were, there's not that much attention on the World Cup. I said, this is FIFA. They don't play games. This is going to be bigger than the Olympics. Yeah. I think that's been clear to see now. Broader impact, bigger impact, and what a phenomenal achievement by FIFA. I think, the way they've run the operation all the way through to Football Australia and everyone else, the sponsors and partners involved, broadcasters and everyone.
And just finally then, before I let you go, we know you spoke about needing that sort of infrastructure. That comes with investment. We saw the Premier of this state, South Australia, announced the other day some, I think, $18 million worth of investment for women's sport. If you had a message for all the premiers and politicians that have jumped on the bandwagon over the last couple of weeks, what message would you send to them about the importance of investing in that infrastructure and investing in the game?
Well, I'm just about to jump into a meeting with the planning minister who walked past us just a little bit before, so it will be mentioned again, and probably in all my conversations. But it really is, the return on investment you make in this great sport and sport in general, especially at the grassroots level. Of course, there's the elite level that is required. If there's no Matildas, then there's nothing to really aspire to. But it all starts at the grassroots, and when you think of government, that's our money, that's taxpayers' money. The return on investment is significant, as we've seen at this tournament when adequate resources are funneled into the right places, and that's grassroots sport. That's supporting local clubs, and I implore all governments. It's better for the economy. It'll reduce the health bills. It's better for mental health and everything as well. Social cohesion. Nothing can bring the country together like our Matildas do. Neither sport can do it. No other brand has that power. So, it's money well spent, and let's hope to see several hundreds of millions spent on grassroots sport, with a specific focus on women and football.
Indeed. Bruce, thanks very much for joining us. I know you've got to go. After the game, a couple of the Matildas spoke to the media, Claire Hunt and Mary Fowler, and this is what they had to say.
They're not the outcome we all wanted, but tell us about the occasion and still the feeling of playing out there in a semi-final today.
Yeah, I think we took our chances, I suppose, in the second half, and we just, I suppose, got outdone by their transition moments as well. So I think England performed well and capitalised on their chances, so congratulations to them for their win. But yeah, quite disappointing for us, but it's amazing to be in front of a full house again. So we thank Australia for their immense support.
Our goal's still a moment that none of us will ever forget.
Yeah.
Talk us through your view of it.
I think it's amazing to hear the crowd get behind us, and it's amazing to, I suppose, equalise in a semi-final of a World Cup. So there were times where, we had momentum and we controlled the game. So I think we can be proud of our efforts tonight, and obviously move forward with our heads held high and fighting for third place when we play Sweden on Saturday.
And just finally, as you said, Brisbane Saturday now, Sweden. What's the mentality going into that?
I think the mentality is to process this as quickly as possible and reset our focus towards playing Sweden, and how we can, I suppose, overcome that game and come away with a win to secure, I suppose, third place at the biggest tournament.
It was unreal tonight, just like it has been for all the games actually. But yeah, it's really nice, even when we're under the pump and we're down by some goals, to hear the crowd get behind us and really try to cheer us on. So yeah, not many people get to experience that in their life, being able to play at a home World Cup and really feel the support of the country behind them. So something that, we're all very lucky to be part of. And yeah, I guess just a big thank you to the fans for being out there for us.
Sam's goal still a moment that we'll all never forget. Talk us through your view of it and how you felt in that moment.
Yeah, sometimes people get the ball and you just know that they're going to score, and that was one of those moments, and it was a great finish. Just really happy for her to get that goal after, what she's had to go through this tournament. Obviously, it'd be better under different circumstances, but, props to her for being able to get that goal.
Finally, on to Saturday, third place playoff. Brisbane still could be a huge achievement to finish third at the World Cup. How are you feeling heading into that one?
I think we've got to get over tonight pretty quick as we can actually, and then just focus on the next game because it means as much to us, and we want to come away with something.
Yeah, two very disappointed players there. And to finish this week, delighted to say I'm joined from Optus Sport by Michelle Escobar. Michelle, thanks very much for joining us here today. A day of disappointment. You've had a chance to sleep and wake up again this morning. How did you sleep last night and waking up this morning? How do you look back on the events of last night?
Well, I went to bed very sad, as you can imagine, given that result. It was, not the one that we wanted. I didn't actually sleep that much because this morning I had a radio interview as well. And I woke up early because I suppose, it's all been a bit disjointed at the moment. But, last night was very heightened emotions as it has been throughout this whole tournament. And to say that I've been sleeping well would be a complete lie.
You never sleep well during a World Cup in normal circumstances anyway. It was a night of enormous disappointment, as I said, but it was a night that delivered a magical moment for the tournament, that Sam Kerr wonder goal that gave us all hope again. I was watching at home. I don't know what it was like inside the stadium, but certainly when that goal went in, it seemed to give renewed hope to everyone. You were lucky enough to be there. What was it like inside the stadium when that goal went in?
Well, it was at that point that, we're all starting to think, what do we need to change? And then, and I was actually discussing that with my colleagues, and then out of nowhere, Sam Kerr just shows why she is the best striker in the world, that individual brilliance. And it was almost like, as it was happening, it was almost like in slow-mo for me. I was like, is she about to score? And she just does it, and the whole stadium went insane. I don't think I've ever heard it that loud before, and the celebrations went on for like quite a while as well. It was so loud, and I mean, this whole tournament we've had some fantastic matches, and we've had some incredible atmosphere, especially at Colombian games. I feel like that's been a standout. This, I think, was even louder than that. I didn't know it could get even louder. Everyone was just ecstatic for what was it, 7 minutes and 54 seconds until England, put another ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, and they did what they did. There were some defensive lapses, mistakes, I think it's fair to say, that cost Australia last night, particularly that second goal, which really sucked the life out of everyone. But I think the first goal as well probably could have been defended better. So what did England do well to sort of counter Australia? Where did they win the game, and where did Australia fall short, do you think, having watched the game inside the stadium?
I think they just capitalized, like you said, on those defensive mistakes. They did not falter once. They had a game plan and they executed it so well. I felt like they looked their best and most clinical last night out of this entire tournament. I mean, we saw them absolutely thrash China in the group stage, but I feel like this was the match where they knew what they had to do. They had their game plan. They knew that they could not falter at any moment, and they didn't. They looked so well organized. I mean, and that's where for the Matildas, I think that's where our downfall was, that we did have those defensive errors, especially in those last couple of goals with, I suppose, Ellie Carpenter being thrown off a little bit by Lauren Hemp. And that's I mean, you've got to give credit to the Lionesses. How clinical they were in the final third was just so impressive, and they're a world-class team.
Yeah, leaving the stadium last night, what was the sort of the general mood of everyone as they left the stadium? Of course, we're all disappointed, but was there still a sense of pride that Australia was able to make it this far? I mean, Australia making the semi-final of a World Cup is a remarkable achievement in and of itself. We just came up against a better team who were better on the night. So leaving the stadium, what was the feeling amongst the fans? Was it still just that general sense of pride more than disappointment?
Yeah, definitely. We spoke to some fans after the game, and that was definitely the sentiment, that devastating because of the result. Everyone, was dreaming about a World Cup final and being able to go all the way, but proud because at the same time the Matildas exceeded expectations. I mean, it's the first time they've ever made it to the semi-final. First time Australia's ever made it to a semi-final, men's or women's. So that's a massive achievement. And so a lot of the fans, that they were saying that yeah, they were just sad about the result, but very, very proud of this team and the tournament that they've had. And then now it's about the third place playoff, that we're not going to leave this tournament empty-handed.
Yeah, I want to talk more broadly about the tournament now, because over the last month you've had the dream job of travelling the country, going to all the different cities, different stadiums, different fan festivals, to sort of get a flavour and experience the tournament. What's it been like for you over the last month to be able to do that and experience this World Cup in your home country? What's that been like?
Oh, it's been incredible and amazing to go around the country and to be able to go to packed out stadiums across the country. In every single city where a game was played was just it. Like, this entire tournament has just exceeded my expectations. I knew that if the Matildas did well, that obviously there'd be interest, but I didn't think it was going to be so much interest in the entire tournament. I mean, every single game that we went to, the crowd was just, it was brilliant to be a part of it, especially, say, the South American countries, like Colombia and Brazil. A standout for me is going to the Brazil-Panama game in Adelaide. It was just, it was just it's not even hard to put into words. It was a party atmosphere. It was like carnival, and everyone was just in high spirits the entire game. Even the Panama fans, who obviously got thrashed by Brazil, but that was just, it showed how every single game meant so much to everyone. And what I loved about this tournament the most was that it really showcased Australia's multiculturalism. And I spoke to a few reporters throughout the tournament who had come from overseas, and this was the first time that they had been here in Australia, and they said, "Oh, we didn't realize how multicultural Australia is." And I think that's, football is the sport that shows that the most, and yeah, it's been a real pleasure to be a part of this.
Who knew Australia had so many Colombians as well?
Exactly.
Finally, then. What legacy do you think this tournament is going to leave? We've seen, the sold out stadiums, sold out fan sites, Fed Square, live sites all across the country. There's one just behind me here in Adelaide, down at Festival Plaza. They had to open up a second one just behind me again here at Memorial Drive as well. I mean, the response all across the country, I think, has been beyond our wildest expectations. So, what legacy does this leave for the Matildas, for women's football, for women's sport in this country, do you think?
I think this is the most important time, isn't it? That there's been so many calls for funding, and that's so important, because we know that football doesn't receive the same amount of funding as the major codes, such as AFL and NRL and cricket, and so that's a key. The other thing I think that, as cliche as it sounds, is going to inspire generations to come, especially girls. We know that there's a huge drop off when girls reach their teenage years, they stop playing sport. and for myself, thinking back when I was a kid, I always liked football, but I never thought that it was something that you could be professional at because I just didn't have those sort of role models or idols. My idols were always men in the football game, but this generation that's growing up, that's going to be a real possibility now, and that's going to, this World Cup's going to motivate them to pursue their dreams that are actual reality. So I think that's going to be a major win out of it. At least I hope.
Well, Michelle, thank you very much for joining us. I saw on social media the other day it was your birthday too, so happy birthday. Unfortunately, the Matildas couldn't give you the ultimate birthday present last night, but thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.